shows that are just trash, and they use all their tools, these like fancy tools, to like get crayons and like all kinds of just filthy, disgusting stuff out of like carpets and seats, and it's fascinating. And I've got all kinds of stuff on my Amazon wish list to have all of those tools in my house.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
My week is okay. You know, I've been kind of silent from TikTok, but I'm trying to face the reality that there might be people that I know, no names mentioned, that might be a little better at TikTok than I am. And,
like most of the world.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if I'm just
Diva
really the social influencer like I was cracked up to be.
Yeah, probably not.
You're not. Cynthia, okay, real quick interjection. The sound totally wasn't working before, but it started working when Rodney was telling us about his week. So apparently you were lucky. You're a good luck charm. But for the people who missed the first few seconds, I'm Adrienne Dobson. That's Rodney Bettis and Mike Kilgore having some bro time. And Cynthia Bradford is here taking the place of Dana, trying her best to look like Dana. You're pretty cute, though.
I'm trying. I got a shirt just like his. Like, I'm trying to fill. I have a sword. It's not a lightsaber, but like, I'm trying to be Dana. I draw the line at my drink. I'm a purist. It's Sonic Route 44 ice water, but Dana.
Yay. Marvelous. How was your week, Cynthia?
Mine was good. I have found out that I am a social influencer, and my TikTok is doing a lot better than Mike's TikTok. So,
yeah.
So I did a challenge to him. It's actually a really steep challenge. We're going to do a dance to a chorus line. I gave us 48 hours, but I kind of think we need like 48 days. So.
That guy does not have legs. He has springs in the shape of legs, and y'all ain't ready.
Hey, I can't be Dana any longer. I've got to be Cynthia Bradford. So there you go. I mean, maybe Dana wears stuff like this under his shirt. I don't know, but this is what Cynthia Bradford's.
Probably, yeah.
I love it.
No, so I've had fun doing social media. I have a social media advisor at school, a TikTok analyst, a 13-year-old girl who knows everything about TikTok. So, Mike, don't despair. You'll get there someday.
How many views have you been getting, Cynthia?
I'm getting like over 2,000 views on my videos.
Dude.
So Mike's gotten like 20.
Yep.
22.
22. That's amazing. Well, yeah, no, I've seen some of your duet dancing videos, and yay, Cynthia. Bravo, bravo, bravo. We're moving right into theater news. We have a huge announcement at the theater that I feel like we have a lot to talk about because a lot of people still don't understand what's happening, which is totally fine. We're figuring it out. We're doing Rocky Horror again. We're calling it a Rocky Family Reunion. We are doing a shadow cast version, which means the screen will be playing behind us. We're going to be out in the parking lot. The cast is going to be distanced and in masks. Some pretty cool looking masks that have been popping up. And our audience, you have two choices. You can either drive in and stay safely in or around your car, or you can go, you can get seating in what we're calling the Den of Denton Denizens, which it's called the Phantom Experience. Yes, bravo, Rodney. That was an excellent
Diva point.
an excellent choice. But tickets are on sale now, and we haven't sold too many yet, but I also understand that they might be hesitant to come back to live theater, which I understand because we're hesitant to do live theater right now. But we kind of don't have a choice because we got to keep paying our bills. And this is kind of a best case scenario. We're doing it safely with Rocky Horror. I think it's very easy to embrace the COVID moment and everything that's important to think about with COVID, wearing masks, staying apart. It's going to be hard for some of these people not to touch each other, but we're going to work all that out. So if anyone has any questions about Rocky Horror, do you guys have any questions as like a typical audience member who's thinking about buying a ticket?
Did you say what the seating's going to be? You said the Den of Denton Denizens, but what's the other type of seating?
The other type of seating is purely drive-in. So you can either remain in your vehicle, and we have like a transmitter that you'll be able to tune the radio in your car so that you can hear everything in your vehicle. So it doesn't matter how far away you are, you'll still be able to kind of see us and hear us. You are able to get out of your cars and sit like on or around them if you want to bring lawn chairs. But if you do get out of your vehicles, masks are required. Restrooms.
Can I still order snacks and things like that? And what about those cool prop bags?
Yes. Thanks to you and Sarah Black, we're going to have amazing prop bags. The Rocky Horror prop bags are available. They're $10, and you can buy them on their website just along with your ticket. Easy peasy. Concessions are available. We talked about the packages last time, but I can remind you real fast that the smallest package is Brad's. The next step up is Rocky's, and the biggest package that we have is Janet's package. And that is basically, you can get concessions, and you can pick your drink and pick your snack, and we're going to try to have popcorn, and it's going to be awesome. And it will be delivered to you, so you don't have to go in the building, wait in line, anything like that. We're eliminating as much contact as possible.
Are any of my favorite Diva dads in the show?
Oh man, we got all three. We have all three. Yeah, y'all want to tell us about what you're doing in the show, dudes?
All right. Well, yes, I'm actually going to be playing Eddie. So if you've seen the movie, that would be the Meatloaf character.
Vroom vroom.
Vroom vroom. Yeah, or Dana's vroom vroom. Right? We can't go an episode without saying that. And so yeah, I'm reprising the role from a couple years ago, and super excited.
Yeah, and we've decided to cut Dana from the show, right? It seems fair. Dana is going to be Dr. Scott, even though at the read-through last night it was done exceptional by Carrie.
Yeah, German was on.
Yeah, German was really, really good. So I don't know. He can just stay in Florida if he wants.
She's so flexible. She could definitely play Dr. Scott. I'd believe it.
Yeah. I am going to be the narrator in the second act, and I'm going to be Rocky in the first act.
Tell us about your costume.
Rocky's usually shirtless. Are you going to be shirtless and in the shorts?
Oh, you're not ready. You're not ready.
You're really not ready for Dustin's costume either, Cynthia.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait.
Dustin is going to be just the flip of that. So he's going to be the narrator in the first act, and he's going to be Rocky in the second act. So I get to interact a lot with Frank, which in the first act is Brandon Kemp, and he gets to interact a lot with Janet in the second act, which is played by Christina Freeman. So it's going to be really cool.
It's going to be awesome. So he did say that the shorts that he ordered didn't quite work, so he's going to wear black pants, but I feel like pants are just not something that should happen. So I'm going to see if we can find some other shorts for him. I
was going to say real quick, Adrian, so I don't know if they would ever watch this, but we'll announce that we do have an official underwriter for the show as well. We want to thank you to Dennis Berthold and Pamela we just reached out to them, and like what he said was just amazing. Like during this time, and we understand money is tough for people. We understand stuff like that. Like we understand all of us are going through this, and he just reached out and said, whatever you guys need at this point. So it was like amazing. So thank you, Dennis and Pamela. They actually did Rocky. I think they underwrote Rocky 3. I think it was, if I'm not mistaken.
They're incredibly supportive. They're always at preview. They're not the type of underwriters who, give us money, which thank you for your money, but they never miss a show. They're always there. I really love seeing them. They're always wonderful.
So when is this all happening?
Hey, it's November 13th and 14th. It's a week from now is opening. Like a week from now at this point, we're going to be like into Damn It, Janet. It's going to be great. Another question that someone asked is restrooms. The theater will be open for restroom use only, but you have to wear a mask, and then we're also doing temperature checks at the door. And we'll have volunteers there to help with that. Any other questions? Buy your tickets.
Adrian, what will you be doing in the show?
Oh man, okay, so I am gonna be playing the Usherette, so I'm kicking the thing off, but then I'm gonna relax and I'm gonna play a Phantom in Act 1 because Tyler Lewis is gonna be Magenta. So he's gonna be time warping it up with David Moreno. It's gonna be awesome. But then I'll come back as Act 2 Magenta with Carrie Kemp as Riff Raff.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited to like relax in the first act and just have fun.
You said it twice without saying it.
Relax.
Oh, relax.
Thank you.
Sorry. I need to make
You know, I was just thinking about Tyler, who's tall and usually in like really big heels, and David Moreno, and how elbow sex is gonna work. It's gonna be interesting.
That's gonna be incredible. Relax. I need an audio drop for relax every time Dana gets stressed out, which he's probably stressed out right now. All right. Next up.
All
So
right.
next up, is that me? Purple?
Yeah.
You're purple. You're good.
Okay, we have the Roger Pine breakdown, which is Les Mis, but I think we have guests Roger Pine. Is that right? So Roger Pine was in Les Mis. Here are our guests talking about it.
All right. Let's see how this works. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me try something different. I'm gonna try something different. It's okay. We're gonna be fine.
Hey, look, I see their faces.
Do you? Because I know.
Well, I mean, I did.
So while he's pulling this up, a funny story, Roger Pine in Les Mis, I might have told this on here before.
His
He
shoes.
forgot to change his shoes. Like, totally forgot. And Roger Pine is on point for everything. When he forgot his shoes, it was hilarious. Like, hilarious. He was the best bishop.
He was so good. He was so calming and sweet. That was a really good scene. I think it was one of the revival concerts where they had the original Valjean come back as the priest or as the bishop.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was so good.
And he was in the movie too. He was in the movie as I think he was the bishop in the movie
Oh
too.
wow.
Colm Wilkinson.
Yes.
Colm Wilkinson.
I couldn't remember his last name.
Yeah.
I was looking up pictures of Hannah earlier today, and whatever show happened after Les Mis, like maybe Meet Me in St. Louis, there were some workday pictures, and there were pictures of people loading the turntables. Or when did we have a big like turntable that was on the stage? Gentlemen, are y'all okay? I don't think that they're okay. Guys, are you there? You know, Mike.
Maybe. Can you hear us?
We can hear you.
I can't see you.
Blame it on Mike's Wi-Fi.
Well, the thing is he told us that, hey, I got brand new like plug-in cable internet. Wi-Fi's not going to be a problem this time. So I'm going to be currently downloading these videos and sharing my screen in just a second.
So, fun fact, Nick Jonas played, show my students this all the time, but he played Gavroche on Broadway when he was a kid.
Well, did
and he played Marius
Yeah,
on Broadway.
Was it on Broadway or was it the West End version?
Maybe it was the West End version. It might have been the West End version,
Was he any good? Because I can't hear his voice as not like a pop thing.
He was good as Gavroche. Like, he was really good as Gavroche. As
Just
Marius, it was a little anemic, I felt. I felt like his voice was a little anemic.
Yeah,
But he did great as Gavroche.
Good. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and play this, and you and I are going to talk about it, and it's going to be fine.
Okay, let's talk. Let's do it.
Okay, share screen. I love that. We're just like kicking these dudes out.
Yeah.
Full screen.
Hi there, Diva Dads. I'm Carrie Kempf, and I have Parker Greer here with me, and we're filling in for my boss and role model Roger Pine for the Roger Pine breakdown. So I'm going to have Parker here break down Les Miserables, the musical. Take it away, Parker.
So, Les Miserables is about the French Revolution, and everybody falls, and it actually fills the streets up with tons of blood.
Oh gosh. What else?
And, well, I basically don't know anymore.
You don't know anymore? That's okay. That's okay. So that's what Les Mis is about. Have a great night.
The blood of angry men. The blood of angry men.
I thought that was perfect. At first I pitched, you saw that I pitched to like women of the theater company, hey, what can anyone give me some ideas for the Roger Pike breakdown, because I need someone, because Roger's got a lot going on and I just need someone to do it. And oh look, the boys are back. And Carrie was the first person to be like, yep, I'm on it, I can do it. And I'm so glad that she did, because that was perfect. And the reason why I think I pitched Les Mis because of what we're all kind of going through right now as far as protests. Because everyone made jokes about like, well, what are you going to wear in the Civil War and all that jazz. So yeah, that's why we picked that show. And I know Roger kind of broke it down already. So we just went ahead and did it, guys. Don't know if you saw that.
That's probably for the best, because I don't think it's gonna work.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, just in time, would you like to make us a drink, Rodney?
Oh yeah, that's so ready. Okay.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I gave Cynthia a hard time earlier tonight, and that was not very nice, and I apologize.
Why'd you give her a hard time?
I promise I won't. So Cynthia is so awesome to the show. She comes and fills in for our absent members all the time. Mainly Adrian, but this time Dana, and so she usually does it at the theater because she has,
Diva.
wonderful lighting, and she's got a wonderful family that loves her so much that they don't want to leave her alone. And so anyway, she does it at the theater, which is great. We appreciate it. We love the backdrop or whatever. But our lovely Cynthia has a little fear of mirrors.
Oh no! I forgot that this was happening.
Yes. So I was a little mean to her today. So I'm not gonna torture her anymore. I'm just going to say that I'm sorry. But tonight, since I'm here with Brother Mike, we are going to make a cocktail that he suggested. He said he was in a very fall mood. Is that correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
Are you gonna make a pumpkin spice whiskey?
Yeah, and he bought some whiskey and leave it to Mike to like get like top shelf stuff whenever he's gonna make a cocktail out of it. Like,
Wait.
I get the swill to.
I was joking. Is this really a pumpkin spice drink?
Yeah, well, it's a cider drink. You can have a whiskey drink. You
You can cider drink.
You have a lager drink. It's a whiskey drink and a cider drink. So you're gonna need some cider. This is Honey Crisp. I don't know. I was actually looking for a different kind of cider at the grocery today, and they failed me. All right, so you're gonna need 3. I'm making one for myself and one for my buddy Mike. So we're gonna have 6. 1.
Wait, Mike.
2.
If you guys are finally together, how is he not making the Ramos Gin Fizz?
Because that would take 15 minutes. I never revealed it, so you actually have to shake it for 15 minutes.
Well, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're making this at home, you need 3 shots of your cider. You need 2 shots of your whiskey. But I'm making 2 drinks, so that's 4 shots of Basil Hayden's Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Look at that packaging. It's just be like an influencer. It's amazing, and I had a little bit to begin with.
Diva point.
Very good. Okay, so you're going to want the juice of a lemon. My juicer.
Your juicer.
That's half would you call it? The squeezer?
I have no idea. It's weird that we can hear that sound. I don't know that I need that.
It is. It sounds different. Yeah, it does not sound like a lemon bean squeeze.
ASMR or whatever that, we were listening to that kind of stuff. Okay, then we're going to shake it up. So it's nice and cold.
I'm starting the timer.
15 minutes. No, I'm going to shake it for that one. Alright, then we're going to put some fresh ice in our glasses. I don't know why, Adrian, you just do. What bartenders tell me to do, and I do what they tell me to do. I'm using my Tiger King glasses from Blackwater Draw because I'm never going to financially recover from this. Okay.
You made a reference to Tiger King and Basil Hayden's. They need to give us money.
Yeah.
For the show.
Alright, so I almost poured those even. Okay, and then you top it off with a little, it asks for pumpkin spice, but I was like, Mike, I'm not putting pumpkin spice.
Why not?
Because pumpkin spice should be reserved for, I don't know, garbage can. So I'm gonna put some Mexican cinnamon in there.
Ooh.
That sounds better. That's part of pumpkin spice. All right.
Thank you, sir. Oh my lord. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh my gosh.
That's crap. No, it's actually not bad.
Not bad.
That's
Oh.
adorable.
Oh, good.
If you were, ooh, I like those
The color is
glasses.
pretty.
Do what?
I like the glasses.
Thank you.
I like the color. The color's pretty.
Um,
Very fall.
So what we're gonna do, because when we did the Roger Pine breakdown, it played the audio but not the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and do When Kate Cries on this end, but y'all aren't gonna be able to hear it. But we're just gonna roll with it. So give Hannah that warning, and everything's gonna be fine. Oops, maybe it will. Nope, it's not gonna play. So can anyone play it on their end?
Oh, we can try.
Perfect.
We're game for it. If we can find where it is. Give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves.
Cynthia, you should just be in Rocky Horror next year.
Hey, I would actually love that. I would have a blast, I think.
All right. Well, I'm hoping that you come in costume this time around.
Oh, I've got a costume planned out. So
Okay.
For those of you who don't, I'll be in the parking lot running around with my head chopped off because my name is on all the permits for this event. So.
Everything is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Yeah, all the choreography videos are linked. You can learn it. I have confidence.
I'm a Rocky virgin though, so I'm not sure I'm dressing appropriately. Like I've never seen the movie or the show, like because I've always been helping, in the lobby or something. So this will be my first time.
We'll get you there. All right, Kate's crying.
Yeah, let's see if this happens.
Yay.
No audio.
Okay.
But she looks beautiful.
She does look beautiful. All right, let's try this again. I have to do something on Zoom to share it, right?
You have to share audio when you share your screen. There's a button that says share audio.
And you click it.
And optimize sharing.
So you say.
You have to stop sharing. You have to go back. Stop sharing your
Right.
screen. Go back. And at the bottom, it'll say, share screen.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
If you're a teacher, you know how to do that. Oh, wait.
I'm sorry, I don't use Zoom in our district, so.
That was a Diva
What
word.
do you want?
When Kate cries.
Let's see if it works out. I don't know if you noticed, but we added whiskey.
Hey everybody!
Yeah,
For this week's
Can y'all
When
hear
Kid Cries, I am going to actually talk about a time that I was in the same room as Hannah Lee / Farris when I did cry. I went and saw Pretty Woman with Adrian whenever she was visiting town, and Hannah just happened to be in the same theater at the same time because we live in the smallest world. But there is this moment, if you're familiar with the movie, where he's offering her everything she's ever wanted. He hands her like an allowance. He says, I'm going to put you up in an apartment. You're never going to have to work another day in your life. And of course, that's the catalyst of the show where she says, no, that's not what I want. That's not enough for me. And they end up deciding to be together and blah, 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 love stuff. So when he first started offering her all these things, I started crying. And Adrian thought it was because of the immensity of what was about to happen. But when I clutched her hand, I looked at her and I said, I want that. Not the love part. I want the apartment and the allowance. But that was real. And I still want that. Have a good show.
When Kid Cries.
Success.
Did it work? Because we couldn't hear it. Like, we were
Oh.
just like... It was just like, oh, well, she's got beautiful glasses. We love that.
I heard y'all talking, so I figured you weren't paying attention anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we would have wanted to pay attention, but we couldn't hear it. So
But the gist of it, and I think she said this on her episode, is at the end when the guy's offering her like all the money stuff, like the apartment, the card, whatever. He's like, "Look, I'll give you everything." But she's about to turn him down because she just wants him, not all the money and all the perks. But Katie grabbed my hand when he's offering her all these things, and she says that she said, "I want that." But actually, what she said was, "That's my dream." and it's accurate. Like, and in my head, leading up to that moment, I was thinking, God, this is probably everything she's ever wanted. Yeah. Have y'all seen Pretty Woman, the musical?
Not the musical.
Not the musical.
No, not the musical.
Very familiar with the Julia Roberts movie. But...
Aren't we all? It was really good. It was really, well, I say that. It was a really fun experience. It's not a good show. It's one of the shows that you see on Broadway and you're like, oh, we could do that. But, like, that's not a good thing to think when you're seeing a Broadway show. But she's right. So our lovely guest, which I'll let Cynthia introduce in just a second, I knew she was coming in town because our birthdays are on the same time, and her and Hunter were there. They were in New York for her birthday. And I had told her, these are the shows I'm seeing. This is where I'm going to be. But we just couldn't catch up with each other. So then Katie and I are walking to our seats in Pretty Woman, walking down the stairs, and I hear, oh my God, is that Adrian Dobson? And I was like, what? And it was Hannah and Hunter sitting together. It was a really weird moment that I was like, of course, you're here at the same show. But yeah, Cynthia, tell us a little bit about Hannah, and I'll bring her in.
Did she sing that though? Did she say, walking down
Okay.
the stairs? No?
No, it's... Good job, Mike.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Hannah Lee was a staple at the theater company about 10 years ago. I first met her the same show I met Dobson. It was in Annie. I still remember her beautiful smile at auditions. She was assistant choreographing you, I think, for that show, or helping you. She was known on stage, just joy, always perfection. Her voice was beautiful. She left here, went to college, and then came back, and she is now a nurse. So we're going to hear about her journey from stage to college to nursing. If you've ever heard her sing, her voice is beautiful. She's had some lead roles. She was Liesl in Sound of Music, Meet Me in St. Louis. She's just a joy. Hannah Farris.
Hi, girl. Hi. How are you doing?
Good. How are y'all?
We are making it, man. We are making it. How was your day?
It was good. It was busy, but went by fast.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about like your pandemic life. Like everyone has handled this all very differently. What has your life been in the past, 10 months now? Holy. Whoo. Wow.
So Hunter, Yeah, that seems like really a long time. And Spencer and I were living in Dallas when it started. And we had kind of started talking about, oh, we should move back home and all this stuff. And then it hit, and I was working just as needed as a nurse. And so everything was kind of shutting down, and they were like, okay, don't come in because we can't afford to like have extra people working at this point. So then we moved back to College Station, and so there was a point where Hunter hadn't left the house in like a month because I would do like all the grocery shopping and everything because I was still kind of sometimes going to work, and so he was just working from home 100%. He's like, I haven't seen anyone but you in like a really long time. So that was weird.
But you're still married.
Yeah, and we're still married. Yeah. In the middle of the pandemic, he decided he needed a truck.
Nice.
He does not. He was like, oh, I'm going to use it for my yard work and my household chores. He has never done. So I was like, you don't do those things. You don't need a truck. So in the middle of the pandemic, he's talking about going to buy a truck. And I'm like, no. And I was like, that was the one breaking point. Like, if he had bought a truck, I think we would have done.
Well, I'm glad you made it through. I'm very glad you made it through.
We still don't have a truck, so we're good.
Good.
But has he done yard work yet?
We did buy a house. Yard work? No. But he still thinks he needs a truck to start the yard work.
I mean, you do need the right tools.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I'm with you, Hunter. Hunter, we're fully behind the truck thing. We're with you.
I feel like Cynthia and I are going to stay strongly by your side, Hannah.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you do now, and because you're also in school, you're taking classes?
Yes, I'm trying to get my bachelor's of nursing slowly, very slowly. But I work for Scott and White Pediatrics. So I do all things kiddos, which is very fun. I have to use my acting skills every day. So I grew up going to Scott and White Pediatrics and now work for like the doctor who was my pediatrician. And
Oh,
just great being a work environment. I mean, just great coworkers. I love it.
So what does a bachelor's do for you? That just nursing, what's the difference?
You just get paid more.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Or money.
we all support you in that.
Is that also that you can also prescribe medicine too? Is that what that does as well?
No,
It's a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
which is a master's.
Were you trying to get something out of that, Mike? That was really odd.
No,
Okay.
I just know of like a nurse, like a friend that I have is a nurse, and she can prescribe medicine. So.
Okay, a friend that's a nurse. Okay.
You could just go to Oregon now.
Yay!
Hey, I mean, it's a long ways away.
Well, we're going to get started with a few questions that we have for you. And the goal is we're going to talk about your theater company journey and like where your life has gone since then. So first off, what was your first show at the theater company and how did you and your family kind of get started there?
First show was King and I. My first audition was Peter Pan. And I convinced Victoria, my older sister, I said, okay, we're going to go and audition. We had done, like, dance growing up and everything. And I was like, we got this. Like, we'll be so great. And she's a little shyer than I am, and I'm very outspoken. And I'm like, okay, we got this. We're going to do this. We're going to sing this song and blah, blah, blah. And then we get there, and I panic. And she has to drag me up on stage to actually audition. So she ended up getting a call back, and I didn't get anything, and that was fine. So then we redid it for King and I, and we got cast as kids. And then I think after King and I was Fiddler, and then there was just so many shows.
Yeah.
So Tori and I did it first, and then my mom was like, "Oh, this looks fun. Like, let me like join in." And then my dad did stuff when he was in college with theater. So he was like, oh, y'all need help? Here, let me do this and this to help out here and there.
Hey, Hunter. He's talking some smack on the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
so.
Uh-oh.
Fix the mic. I fixed her mic.
Oh, what a good husband.
We appreciate that.
He deserves a truck now.
Yeah, get him
Oh,
the truck.
let's not go that far.
I never got that far.
We won't go that far.
Everyone in the Lee family was involved in theater except Colin, which I think he just would come and watch all the shows, but
I feel like he would come help on work days sometimes.
sometimes. But I just remember like getting up in one show to like sing my one like line or like say something, and I would see him get up and go to the bathroom, and I'm like, it was like one time, 1 minute. I'm supposed to do something. Thanks, brother.
What wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
Which version or what year Fiddler on the Roof were you in? Was that
Oh,
before-
Mike, was she in the Fiddler that you were in?
Well, I know your mother was because she played Tevye's wife.
Whose name
She
was
Teddy's wife.
Wasn't she?
in the first one. She was in a.
Oh,
Mike, Hannah was not in the so Hannah, Mike has an issue with memory. We're not exactly sure what we can attribute that to, but that might be why he's asking about prescriptions. So he or the whiskey that they're drinking. So he tends to forget some of the shows that he's been in with some of our guests. But no, Mike, you're safe. You have not been in a show with Hannah.
Not met you.
Yeah, but he was in Fiddler with Wendy.
Okay.
Yeah, the year that she did play Golda, he was the bad guy. He was the Russian jerk.
He's
JC
good.
was old when I was in it.
Yeah. Pictures from that were really lovely because I was pulling some pictures from your theater company experience. But I love that Fiddler because so many people showed up. That was when Brian Birds came and Dana and Morgan. It's like an influx.
Yes.
Cammie, there was a Cade Butler also showed up. So Fiddler was like our Sweeney, or actually our also that most recent Fiddler. We just got a whole bunch of new people, a new sort of family. It was awesome.
So you said your first show that you were cast in was King and I?
Yes.
How old were you whenever that happened?
I was trying to. Adrian wouldn't write my bio for me, so I had to quickly write one.
Sure.
But I think 13.
Okay. So what do you remember about that show?
Convinced my parents to let me dye my hair black.
Oh.
Because all the other kids had to spray paint their hair, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
So we get a lot of families at the theater. Like we get a lot of groups. Like it'll start with one kid or two, like your family, and so you get a lot that have that family experience. What was the best thing about doing theater with your family?
I think it brought us all kind of like closer together, and then it was like on Saturday we'd wake up, get our chores together, and then we'd all go to the theater. Like it was like kind of a routine, and so. And we were homeschooled, so we would always have to like get all like our stuff done and then be ready to go for rehearsal in the evening. So it was just kind of like a little family routine, and it was nice. We were all kind of doing the same thing.
Were there any bad things about doing theater with your family?
Yes, like when you wouldn't do your homework and then you'd have to like go to rehearsal with your mom all night, and or like yeah.
It took Bella a while to kind of get into it, right?
Yeah, gosh, I'm having dementia like.
No, because I don't think she was in the first couple of shows. I don't think she was in the first couple of shows that y'all did.
No, she wasn't. I'm trying to think of her first show.
Hey, Lila.
She wants to party.
I think we missed a Diva burn. Hannah just burned Mike like hardcore.
Yeah, that was definitely
Definitely.
Dementia like
Good job,
Mike.
Hannah.
Good job, man.
Learning.
Diva, burn!
She didn't do, I can't even remember when her first show was, but everyone thinks we do look very similar, but everyone confuses us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said this in the pre-show, but we'll let everybody that's part of the viewing audience in on this. I don't know, Hannah, I'm glad to meet you, but when Adrian said Hannah Lee, and actually most of our guests, I'm just like, I mean, I've been with the theater for a year now, so most of them I'm just like, sure, sounds good, do that. And so I was Facebook stalking, seeing if I could figure out who you were, and I couldn't find you on Facebook, which is probably good that a middle-aged man cannot find you. That's good. Good internet safety there on your part. But Adrian did post a picture, and I was like, I looked at it and I was like, Hannah Lee, and then I was like, oh, she looks a lot like Bella Lee. So I reached out to Adrian. I was like, is there a correlation here? And she's like, duh. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know who these people are. So yes, I am familiar with Bella because she has done several stuff at the theater company, and we love her a lot. And so yeah, it's cool to be able to see that connection. So you do look alike. You favor one of them.
I got to see her the other day. Well, I just got to see her twice, like in the past couple of weeks. So first,
We were there.
Well, yes, you were there for the second one. So the first time is she filmed part of Spooktacular. She was in Benjamin Michael Hall's virtual thing for the Boys and Girls Club of Huntsville. So I got to see her do that. And then we were having a meeting at RX Pizza that Dana wasn't at. And Lil Bella walks in with a date.
Have a boyfriend.
She has a boyfriend.
Not just a date.
Yeah, I know. She's all grown up and going to college. It's weird. That's weird, right?
It's very strange.
It's very strange. All right, Mike, you're up.
Okay, Hannah. What is your go-to musical theater song to sing out loud when you're alone in your car?
That's really hard.
Would Hunter be able to know? Would Hunter know the answer?
I feel like Hunter. So sometimes I come home, and when Hunter and I first started dating, he was kind of not against the theater, but just very like, I'm not sure about this. But now I come home and find him singing like Les Mis at the top of his lungs. So I think his favorite song right now, he was singing it the other night, was the song from Come From Away, where it's like the plane song, like 38, 38, 30, that one. So he really, really likes that song right now.
And
y'all don't know that song.
Mike actually didn't get to see it because of COVID.
I didn't get to see it because of COVID either.
Really?
Dallas, right?
Yes, we had our tickets we changed them. We were supposed to have them the weekend before. We changed them to the Saturday. Shut down.
Ugh.
And very sad.
It's so beautiful. It's so good. But okay, so he sings "Come From Away." What do you sing?
Anything and everything. I really like Hamilton. Obviously, everyone does, but I always argue with him that In the Heights is just as good, if not better.
Girl.
So I
Yeah.
In the Heights. I can sing every word in that.
I have a fun memory of you singing from Thoroughly Modern Millie, Gimme Gimme. Do you remember singing that? Like, you just blew me away on that every time you'd sing that.
Aw. I remember, Cynthia, you played for, we did a concert, like, outside somewhere.
Yeah.
And you played accompanied us. I can't remember what that was for.
I don't either, but I think Gimme Gimme was one of the songs that you sang. And you just had such control. That's a hard song because it builds slowly and quicker. And, like, you just had such control and such joy when you were singing it. That's a fun memory of something I remember you singing.
I sang that song at an audition once, and there was a girl whose name we'll mention in After Dark, who when I came down at the end for that final note, love, she goes, you totally could have held that longer. Okay?
And she's probably right, right?
I mean, she's probably right, but like, shut up.
It's not. You don't want to hear that right after.
No. Think it. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Okay, so I have a weird question. So your family that's involved in theater. So Wendy, Bella, Tori, and Woody, and also we're gonna throw Colin in here too. If you could cast them in like perfect roles, what would you cast them? So we can start. Let's start with Colin. Let's go right there.
Okay, Colin's actually would be probably a pretty good actor. Not sure of the vocal abilities.
He'll fit right in.
Right, let's be honest. Let's throw him in a play. God, these are hard questions.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I think he would be a good comedic. He would be very good, like, with comedy.
I could see that.
But in a comedic play.
Perfect. All right. What about Tori? Cast her in the perfect role.
I think she would be great. Actually, I think she was really good in Gypsy.
She was.
Yes.
Very good. I think that is like the perfect role. She's also like a really good dancer, and yeah, I think that would be it.
The dads learned all about Gypsy last week, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
ago. Yeah, they didn't know that show, but now they do.
You know,
all right.
I could see her as Jo in Little Women too.
Yes, very fierce and yeah.
All right. What about Woody?
He would play someone in Spam-A-Lot because I feel like that's one of his favorite musicals.
I could totally see that. I could see him being Lancelot. That could totally happen.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, he could there's an inside of him that he would be able to let out in that show. So yeah, I fully support that. Okay, Bella.
Bella would be very good. Okay, well actually, Hunter wanted me to tell the story, so this works. So, Hunter and I went to New York City during Thanksgiving 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
And we went and saw Pretty Women, and that was his first Broadway show to see. And as we're sitting there, we see Adrian and Kate come in, and they're seeing the same show. So that was great. So we see Samantha Barks play in Pretty Women, and after the show, he's like, "She is so good. She is beautiful." I was like, "Yeah, that's why I wanted to see the show. I really like her." He's like, "She's so pretty. You know who she reminds me of?" And I'm like, "A brunette." Like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Bella. She looks like Bella." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Thanks, Hunter."
Diva, burn.
So Bella could play. Too young right now, but
That's really funny. But you too.
Hunter is the hardest theater critic I've ever met.
Oh.
He's very honest. He has no knowledge, but I think that, like, no education. So I think that helps him be even more critical.
That's good. So what role would he play? Where does he fit?
So he would probably want to play someone in Les Mis, not Marius, but probably
He would be Angel Ross. He would be
Angel Ross.
Mm-hmm.
he sings that song. Y'all he did the recap of Les Mis, The Blood of Angry Men.
Yeah.
He sings that.
I want to hear him sing now.
Yeah.
This is like the third or fourth reference. We
Yeah,
need to get him on.
bring him in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really is. He's a theater junkie more than I am.
Oh man.
He'll come up with stuff and tell me new updates that I don't even know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, the best for last. Where would you cast Wendy?
She will hate me, but Hunter cast her as Christine Daae's the understudy Carlotta in the Phantom of the Opera.
Yes, I love it.
Hunter told her she should do that for Halloween.
Honestly, she's so funny. That would be perfect. Like her role in Little Women, right?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
No, Aunt March.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be perfect. Hunter, you nailed it. Come sing.
All right, Beck, we've been talking a little bit about funny stuff. So, what's your funniest on stage?
Funniest on stage moment. You broke up a bit, Ron.
It's been a while since I've been on stage.
I know. There was one that I could think of that's not a stage moment, but when we were doing Wizard of Oz clips at the Arts Council Gala several years ago, and you had to use the Toto understudy.
Yes, I do remember that, and it was trying to leap out of like.
Yeah, it was Coco, and she was losing her damn mind.
She was like trying to leap out of my arms as I was trying to sing, and that was a little distracting.
But what about on stage?
On stage, I think I've like fallen a couple times, but it wasn't embarrassing. Like, I can't think of anything. Maybe costume malfunctions.
Always.
I remember. I can't think of anything. I'm horrible, yes.
No.
Well, some of the best moments aren't on stage, and I think like some of our audience members don't know like what happens backstage, and they don't understand the camaraderie that's built in a cast. Because some of my favorite memories, like Little Night Music, people didn't like that show, but that cast was so close because of the backstage memories we have. So do you have any special like backstage memories that you have, whether they're with your family or friends or things like that?
Yes, so there was a point, and I love Randy, and Randy loved me, but there was a point when Randy and I both hated each other too, and so he just like refused to cast me in anything. But like it was almost like out of love, and that was fine, because I was being a brat. But I would like help backstage with all the shows. So one of my favorite backstage memories would always pants Adrian. And I would make money off of it.
That's
like,
oh my god.
I would get $5. And I was pretty professional at it.
Professional, yes.
That sounds a little shady. Like people are putting you up. Like we want.
Pull her pants down.
We want to see Adrian without her pants on. Your kiddo take his pants off. She got to pull her pants.
You know, a 15-year-old $5.
You know who else is fond of doing that is board president Adrian Rowell.
Well, I think it runs in your family, like obsession with butts, and because your mom would grab my butt as the nun going on stage for Sound of Music. The first time, I'm like, woo! Like, what was that? And then your mom just every show we're in, she'll grab my butt, and I'm like, I kind of like it, but I mean, I think you might have gotten that from your mom.
There was a couple of shows where we had our own personal swear jar backstage.
Yes, because back then I didn't say that word.
No, and I didn't either. No, and I think it might have been a kid show, and that's why we were so militant about it. But we had a swear jar, so if you were cursing backstage, it went into the Hanafu swear jar. I don't remember what show that was, but
Cinderella.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because it was kind of adult, but still there were kids involved.
There were so many kids in that show unnecessarily.
Randy loves to, and I would always say, he'd open the phone book and be like, all right, everyone, like anyone who showed up, I think it was A Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Everyone who showed up. And it was like Bryan College Station.
It was insane. I was looking at those pictures today, and the final moment, like the final tableau, people stretched from the side stage to the orchestra pit. That's how many people were in that show. It was ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah.
And I don't even think we were collecting production fees at that point, so there was no reason.
No, we weren't. To cast everyone.
ticket sales.
Yeah, it helps. It helps. So, Hannah, we now have our own swear jar as part of this show. We have a young viewer named Parker Greer, and he benefits every time that somebody on the show swears. We don't usually swear on this show, but Dad's After Dark, sometimes it happens.
Sometimes.
Dana's already almost paid for the first semester.
Yeah, I think he has.
He's paid for like 2 days of lattes for Parker in his first semester.
You really, that's what a, come on, Adrian.
That's still a lot of money.
It is.
Yeah.
That is. Lattes are expensive.
Right, Mike.
All right, Hannah. What made you decide to switch to nursing?
So I was at Ball State, which is in Muncie, Indiana, and per like having stage fright. David Letterman, Ball State is the Harvard of Indiana because he went there and I've seen him. But so I was there doing musical theater, and I just felt like I wanted to do something that would impact kind of the population and like everyone around me. And so I told Hunter, I said, we were just dating at this time, and I said, oh, I'm going to join the Peace Corps. I'm just going to do that. He was like, what are you going to do for the Peace Corps? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, all you can do is sing, dance. Like, what are you going to do? And so he's like, it's pretty competitive. You need to figure out like what your skills are going to be. So I was like, okay. And I was doing a lot of like meditation and yoga at this time and trying to think about what I could do. And I was like, well, I like to help people, so maybe nursing, because that's a very hands-on, helping people directly in times when they need medical attention or if they need psychological, just kind of they need help. So I followed a doctor that I know in town and in the ER and was like, oh, yeah, this is what I want to do, and went to nursing school and done it ever since.
How did you and Hunter meet?
We met I was in Meet Me in St. Louis. We met, and our first date was him coming to see the show. And he was like, oh, cool, she brought me to see a show where she's like making out with another dude the entire show. Like, he ended up coming to the show where like some of his friends' family were also at the show, and they were like, why are you here? And then they realized he was there because of me. So at the end of the show, he like went fine and said hi, and then we were going to go out to dinner. So as he was waiting for me to change, some man in the audience, his truck died. So he's like, oh, let me help you jump your car. So Hunter went out and helped him jump the car, and the guy went on his way. I come out, we go to leave. Hunter's truck, he had a truck back then. Hunter's dead. This is probably why he wants the truck. So the truck was completely dead. So I'm like, well, what do I do? So I call my dad, and I had to come back to the theater, go into the theater, get stuff to jump Hunter's truck, and get his truck. So that was our first date.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
And I love that on the first date he got to see you make out with Jesus. Because it was Zach Greaves, right?
It was Zach.
Perfect. Hope he's doing well. Okay, so I love the way you talk about Randy because he's become this like idyllic figure. And Monty brought up a fun story, and the way you're talking about him makes me happy because he wasn't this perfect person that we all imagine. Like it was rough at times with Randy. Like there was a time I thought I would never come back. Like we've gotten into it plenty of times before. But what is your absolute favorite memory of working with him? I guess when you were on his good side.
Or bad side, that's fine too.
I mean, we both have those stories.
I think pretty much everyone was on his bad side at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being like, oh, he's not going to cast me. I'm going to go out and find my own place. And so, but, my favorite memory, and I feel like where he was like the most hands-on, was like Meet Me in St. Louis, where he was trying to like, I love him so much. He just is very much wanting to block people and would be like, walk this way and then come back. But I feel like in Meet Me in St. Louis, he was very much like, well, what do you think this character is thinking in this moment? And so that was a very good, we had a great relationship in that. And I got older and more mature and realized to stop being annoying. I would just be able to like go up to the theater and just go and sit with him while during rehearsals and just chat with him about things. I thought he was better at, as I grew, he grew too into like directing more than just blocking people. But he was always good with the swear.
But that was a sign.
I think it's a testament to you as an actor, though, because when Randy really cared about an actor and saw potential in them, he would try a little harder, if that makes sense. Because a lot of times, we'll be honest, he could just phone it in and say, move here, you know, he could do that. But when he saw real talent or when he loved the show, he would put that extra in it. And I think he saw that in you and was trying to challenge you and lift you up. And so that's a real testament to you and what he saw in you. That's how I feel.
Yeah,
that was beautiful.
Yeah, that really.
I was waiting for Adrian to like second it or whatever, but that was beautiful.
no, it's true. It's not just the actor, but you also knew that's how he cared about the show.
Yeah.
And then that's how you knew when he really didn't care about the show.
Oh yeah.
When he cast 100 kids in
Wizard of Oz.
Look.
Have fun. Hey, Molly, come down. I promise we're going to get a fly system. We're not going to get a fly system. Let her just do it.
All right, so Hannah, what is your favorite show that you've seen but you've not performed in?
Oh, Once on This Island.
Say that again.
Once on This Island.
Okay, unpack that for me because I'm not familiar.
It's a musical.
What?
We'll start there. And
Diva burn.
I'm with you.
You're good. Okay, you're okay.
Unless you drink in, Hannah, just give me, bear with me. But
So I can't remember when it first came out, but it just came out as a musical, and it's a story basically like I'm gonna botch, whatever. But it's a kind of a tale of the gods, and Adrian might be able to help me a little bit with this. But it is almost a mythical tale, and it's like a fairy tale, but not. And there's like the god of water, there's the god of fire or death, there's the god of life, and then there's the god of like bounty and like something. So they did the production several years ago, and then they just redid it on Broadway 2 years ago, and it was in the theater in the Round, and they had it's on an island, obviously, and they had it with sand all in the theater was like the bottom was sand, and then they had the set kind of part of the audience. So they had kind of some of the beams leaning into the audience seats. It was very interactive. It was I don't know. It was beautiful.
So like you mentioned a lot about like how they staged it with the sets and stuff like that. Is that why it's your favorite? Why is that one?
It's a moving tale. It's just like very emotional, the whole story is. And then yes, it was very interactive. When I was in school, I did a lot of like interactive, very close to the audience, and having not audience participation, but just having the audience almost feel like they're inside the show rather than watching it. So that was a cool experience. Like you felt like the water splash on you. You felt the sand kind of hit you in the face. So you didn't feel like you were watching something. You thought you were like living it.
That was, so it's Circle in the Square Theater that put it on, and they're notorious for taking shows on that have that sort of environment. So Spelling Bee was there. And that you're meant to be the audience of the Spelling Bee. They bring in audience members to participate in the Spelling Bee. The most recent thing, Fun Home was also Circle in the Square, and that was very, you were very involved in the family turmoil of that show. It was very emotional. But most recently, it was the revival of Oklahoma. That was really, really different. And when you walk in, it's like you're walking into like a big communal barn experience. They've got like shotguns across the wall. There's tables all around, and they actually keep the house lights up for most of the show. They just very intentionally bring it down for certain moments. And I kind of had an issue with that because I want to see the people. I don't want to see the tourists sitting across from me who are flipping through their program when they realize the person that won the Tony wasn't in the show that day. Like, it's really insulting when that song started, and no, it's not Ali Stroker, who was the first, woman in a wheelchair to win a Tony. She didn't do every performance, and so someone else equally as amazing. It was Sacha Hutchings, who was in the original company of Hamilton. She played the other performances that Ali didn't do, but you could see audience members being like, wait a second, she's walking, this is weird. And it was just, I hated it. But at intermission, because the whole time there's like crock pots on all the tables on this stage, and there's like stuff cooking, and then they serve chili and cornbread at intermission. Like, you just had to go down and get in line. You got chili and cornbread, and then Act 2 started. It was, yeah, they do a really good job with doing immersive theater like that.
You had me at chili and cornbread.
Yeah, bring that up at the next board meeting.
Once on This Island is also notorious for being a show that is meant to have diversity, but was so often done at like every white high school. So if you like just Google Once on This Island High School, it's just like a barrage of white faces, and that's not how that show is meant to be performed. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
A lot of times when I see a show, Hannah, like that I love, like Once on This Island, you mentioned like you love seeing that, you've never been in that. I took a hiatus from theater from college, and then came back years after being a mom, and then took a hiatus after Randy passed. And I remember going to see Mamma Mia with Adrian at Tuts. And I remember going, the season had been announced, I knew Mamma Mia was coming. I'm like, I want to be on stage again. Like, seeing good theater, like, makes you want to be on stage, kind of makes you want to be on stage. So that leads to our next question. Is there anything that would ever tempt you to get back on stage again? Whether it's seeing Once on This Island, whether it's a role that came up, whether it's being precast in a show, what would tempt you to get back up on stage, if anything?
Yes. So 2 years ago when we went to New York City, it was Hunter's first time seeing a Broadway show, and just seeing like Broadway again really was like, ooh, it's like this is what I've loved, and this is like what I've learned to do, and I miss that so much. And I mean, I would have to get back into like vocal shape because I haven't like done any of that in a really long time. But it would take a lot, I think, just because nursing is really hard. It's exhausting, and then like I come home and I do school and have to deal with this one.
Hi, Hunter.
Hi. Yeah. To add to that, I think that Hannah takes her craft really seriously, and the time she wanted to devote to putting time in the theater on top of school and everything else, it might be difficult for her at this time. But I'd be excited for her to do something like that.
So what if I told you we were doing the Rocky Horror next weekend, and like, the Usherette song?
Next weekend, I'm a little bit.
Okay.
But Tori did text me. I have two tests due, and but Tori texted me and she was like, "Are you going to be in it?" And I was like, "No."
Well, the opening is there.
Yeah.
It's there. You know the song.
You could even just show up, like, you know, you've got your work done on Saturday. You know, midnight showings coming up.
Yeah.
Just show up.
I'll just check in with you in a few days and see how you're feeling about it.
I mean, Hannah, they so I do insurance. I don't get super boring on you, but I do insurance. And I work like 12 hours a day, and like all of the
Diva
board, everyone,
point.
especially Adrian, they were beating down my door to play Stacey Jackson, Rock of Ages.
That's not true.
I mean, you know, I was busy, but hey, I found time. Just saying.
Were you wearing a Dallas Cowboys shirt in the first show thing?
I don't know. I think so.
It had a star. I thought it was Dallas.
It's because he
I'll say
thinks he's a
I'm
star.
closer to my theater debut than Hannah is to a theater reunion.
Well, all right, Mike.
Come on.
Mike.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Perfect segue.
Oh.
Perfect segue.
You're up.
Perfect segue. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Do you?
He's pretty.
Yeah,
He's pretty, folks.
I ran out of questions, you know, but my agent said it was
Diva.
fine. Okay, so do you think your husband Hunter has the desire to be on stage?
You know, he said he wasn't coming in on this podcast his debut, and yet here he is crashing. So I think the desire is there.
You're talking about me so much. I feel like I had to make a presence.
We're glad you did. We're glad you did. Okay, since we're talking about it, and this is one of the shows that we all have in common, even Cynthia, because, like, it's coming. Tell us about your experience with Rocky Horror, specifically considering your age.
The almost illegal aspect of it. I mean,
It's possible.
I'm not sure. I think Randy was at that point in our relationship. He was trying to. I think he felt bad for not casting me in things. He was trying to be very inclusive, and so he was like, "Oh, Wendy and Hannah, you can do this show." And my mom didn't know anything about it, and I
remember this.
but I didn't know anything about it. And I'm like, oh, it's like a Halloween show, sure. And then I remember just coming to certain parts of the rehearsal and not seeing like the full rehearsal. And I think Rocky 1 was the most tamed down Rocky.
I don't know. Okay, partly yes and partly no, because we did go further in a lot of ways, but that was also kind of a free-for-all. Like, Randy didn't dictate a lot of what the Phantoms did. Like, he kept control of the principals, but anytime the Phantoms were on stage, like, there were no rules. So that floor show, Cynthia, it was a lot like Superstar, where it was like, the people that
Just kind of.
the people that wanted to keep to themselves kept to themselves, and the people that were just like, come on, they just all piled on to each other. There was no control, guys. No control.
I remember I wasn't allowed in the floor show.
Yes.
Well, judging from the photos I saw on Facebook, I think it got pretty wild.
I mean,
Before me and Hannah were together, so
that was the Rocky one was interesting. Like, Monty said it best. It was like, we just tried it, wanted to see what would happen, and then the next year was like a little bit more cohesive. But had you graduated at that point, or where were you for Rocky 2?
I think she was at Ball State, because wasn't Rocky 1 your last show here?
No. Because
Was
I was
it?
Hunter at that point.
Okay.
White Christmas, was that your last one?
No, that was before me. Like, Christmas was before me.
Maybe in St. Louis was my last.
That might have been it.
Oh, baby.
No, didn't I do 2x2?
Oh.
The big hit.
What
The one with 40 kids in it.
that literally marched on for a scene.
One scene.
That was Henry's debut at the theater. He was 3.
He was a little squirrel.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
There were 40 kids that came on they were backstage the whole time to come on for one scene.
They were the animals on the ark, and it was like an ark backstage in the Red Theater because you were trying to keep them quiet and fed and get them to the bathroom, and it was like an ark. It stunk. It was miserable. It was horrible as a parent.
Wasn't like that the Act 1 finale? Is that all the kids getting onto the ark?
Yeah, and then they had to stay backstage for the curtain call.
Oh my gosh.
Like, they didn't need a curtain call. Just let them go to bed.
But, Rodney, you think 40 kids is a lot. In her Wizard of Oz, when Hannah was Dorothy, there were 50. 50 munchkins. 50 munchkins that Randy would just find reasons to put them on stage more. So here, come be poppies.
Matilda gave me hives. And there were, like...
That
because of how many kids were in there. There was probably, what, like 16 or something?
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
And those were responsible theater
Those are good kids. Yeah, we don't mess around like before Hannah. Kids got to get in line or they get out the door.
These kids just like walked off the street and Randy was like, "You doing anything? Come on."
Oh, seriously. He was just like, hey, how many kids do you have? They're in a show. Like,
Yep. Yeah.
He's only 3? Like, is he potty trained? Doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter. So, speaking of kids, so, Hannah, you said you were how old when you were in Rocky?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe 16.
Oh my gosh. So David Manuel just said that the Rocky for your show was 17.
That is accurate.
Inappropriate. I mean.
Oh my, seriously?
Yeah, he was 18 this Rocky too.
Oh, well, that makes it better.
It was, that was the guy that Hunter got to see Hannah kiss and meet me in St. Louis. It was Jesus.
I mean, I guess the fact that he was Jesus is fine.
It cancels out, so it evens out.
Also, Tori, girl, she said, pantsing Adrian with Jacob Bertling's encouragement. We'll talk about that.
I didn't say names. I mean, I been paid by an individual, but I didn't say names.
I kind of blocked that, and that was actually sweet charity that was happening, and we'll discuss that in After Dark.
All right, so Hannah, we are done with our questions for you. We want you to hang out with us for a little bit longer. We've got a few more segments to do, including the next segment that's coming up, which is the Jennifer Reiley Fun Fact of the Week. Jennifer Reiley has been one of our most stalwart correspondents, and so maybe I can pull this off this time without too many hiccups. Here's Jennifer Reilly's Fun Fact of the Week.
Hey there, Diva Dads. I hope you all are having a good week. Welcome to November. So this is the Fun Fact of the Week has to do with candy. Of course, we just came off of Halloween, and so there's probably a lot of leftover candy in the house. And this has to do with Kit Kats. So it turns out that the inside of a Kit Kat is made up of ground up Kit Kats. Yep. They take defective Kit Kats that either had air bubbles or other issues with them, and they grind them up into a paste that is then added as the interior of completed Kit Kats. So meta. But yes, that's the fun fact for this week. I hope you all are doing well, and I look forward to this week's episode. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.
That's really weird.
That just blew my mind, like, which came first? Like,
the Kit Kat or the Kit Kat?
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Hannah, what did y'all do for Halloween?
Oh God.
Drank too much.
Woo!
We had a Halloween party with my boss. She threw like a big thing, brought out a bunch of decorations. We watched A&M Arkansas and then partied after that.
They used to throw really big Halloween parties. His boss, like, they would rent out pastures and set up decorations.
They're very into it.
And it was just it was his coworkers and their family who we are with all the time because that's our group, our quarantine group. But they had us decorate their backyard, which they've never done before. And I kid you not, thousands and thousands of dollars of Halloween decorations. Like,
why?
we were decorating, and at one point I started hiding decorations because like if they find these, they're gonna find a place to put them, and I'm exhausted. Like, it was they go all out for Halloween. It was
like light projections and all sorts of
creatures that moved, and they did all of this just because they used to do it. They had it for 13 years, and then they stopped, and this was they were bored.
The highlight is they have a margarita machine that is actually the machine that used to be in the silk stocking before it went out of business. They bought it off them.
They cleaned it.
It tastes the same. It tastes the same.
It tastes the same. Did you know?
In a margarita machine. Yeah, there's a few things that could probably go wrong.
That's amazing. I wonder what else people were able to get off that building before everything disappeared.
They got the important thing.
Yeah.
Most of the Rocky costumes.
No, we go to Cindy's.
Right.
Our stuff isn't used. Hannah, before we wrap it up, do you have any final message or words to the extended theater company family that occasionally tunes into this thing?
No. Oh no, I am so boring. Just stay safe, wash your hands.
Love it. From the nurse. What about to your family, to your actual theater family? So Wendy, Woody, Bella, Tori, and Colin.
Keep doing theater. Find theater wherever you can. And I know Bella's doing Sam Houston stuff, so that's good. And
perfect. It's been lovely having you.
It's been great. Stick around if you guys are watching us for the first time. It's time for Dads After Dark. You can go to TTCDivaDads on Facebook, and there'll be a link posted there where you can join us via Zoom and get part of the party. Woohoo! Or you can go and watch us on YouTube. I drank a lot of water, so I'm a little... but you can go to YouTube. There will be popping up there, too. Dads After Dark is like Diva Dads, except a little darker and a little dirtier. So we'll see you soon.
Also, one thing real quick, though. Make sure you follow the hashtag Hunter Needs a Truck.
Yeah. We're going to have it trending soon.
Trending.
On that note, Mike, I posted a video a TikTok video right before the show. It already has 1,143 views.
Holy cow!
I'm that good.
Yeah, and his video featured
Diva point.
Talent this time.
I mean, I got 4 views, so.
1,143. I'll show you how it's done later.
Oh my gosh. Well, on that note, thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will see you. Actually, you probably won't see us next week because we have 3 shows. We'll keep you updated, so we'll probably see you in 2 weeks.
You'll come in person. Watch Rocky.
Until then, we'll leave you shivering with anticipation.
You know the Diva Dads. The Diva Dads. They know just what to say because the Diva Dads. You can trust them in the middle.